Hello again, boys and girls. Today we are going to do some cutting and gluing practice for our next art project where we are learning about Henri Matisse and his paper cutouts. To start today, we will have a piece of paper that has lines drawn on it for you so that we can practice cutting on these lines. So our first step is we will just start and we're going to try and stay right on the lines on our paper. And we're going to cut nice and slow, making sure that we're staying on the lines as best we can. We're going to end up with a few strips of paper in different shapes and different sizes. So these first ones are just straight lines. These are going to be the easiest ones for us to cut. So I'm using my scissors in one hand. I have my thumb through the top hole and I have my fingers through the larger bottom space. And I use my opposite hand to hold on to my paper, to support my paper as I cut. And as I move my line up, I'm going to move my other hand up as well so that I can support that paper all the way through my cut. So we're down to our last straight line. And then we're going to move on to a line that's a little bit harder, and that is going to be a curvy line. So I'm going to do the same thing where I am holding into my scissors with my right hand. If I'm right-handed, if you are left-handed, then you will be using your other hand. And with my left hand, I'm holding on to my paper. And you can turn your paper and you can turn your scissors as you cut to stay on that line. So I'm going very slow on this curved line so I can make sure that I'm staying on my line. And I'm going to turn my paper a little bit as I cut my curves, back and forth, back and forth. So there's my first curvy line. And the next curvy line, doing the same thing, staying on that line, turning my scissors and my paper back and forth to keep that curve nice and steady. The next one is going to be even a little bit more harder, and that is a zigzag line. To start my zigzag, I'm going to turn my scissors to this angle, and I'm going to cut until I get to the point. Then I'm going to turn my scissors the other direction. Cut to the point, come back, cut, turn, cut. Oops. There we go. Okay, so this one's kind of a funny line because it has a curve on one side and a zigzag on the other. One more zigzag. Notice how none of my lines have small pieces falling off of them. I'm keeping my lines all together. I'm not cutting all the way off, so that these are just little slivers of paper. We're trying to keep it all together so that we have these nice lines. Okay, once we're done with those lines, we are going to put them to the side for a second, and we're going to get a second piece of paper, and this is going to be what we're gluing our lines on, because our next step is going to be to practice gluing. So when we use our glue bottles, we want to make sure it's open, and we are going to use baby dots of glue. A baby dot is just a little dot like this, and we're not putting puddles of glue. I'm just putting baby dots of glue here and there down my line. Once I have those baby dots of glue, I'm going to flip it over And I'm going to glue this line anywhere that I want. Okay. Move on to our next line. We're not going to have room for all of these lines, so let's say that we're going to choose one of each kind. So one straight, one zigzag, and one curve. So on my curve line, I'm going to put a baby dot every couple of inches, just like this. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to stick that on too. And then for my last line practice, I'm going to take a straight line and put baby dots. I don't need a lot, I just need a baby dot. I'm going to glue that one on. So here is a nice practice page for our Henri Matisse cutout project that we are about to start. This is just going to give us a little bit of practice using glue bottles and using scissors for the first time. Hope that you enjoyed that, and we will talk more about it next art time.